Well, guys, I know I promised you an unboxing of a generator video today, but to be 100% honest with you, it has rained off and on today here. Not heavy rain, but enough to where I couldn't set up and film outside with the generator. It is in the truck ready to go. We're going to try again tomorrow. And I haven't opened this box. We're going to do it all together. We're going to open it, do what we got to do, crank it up, test it, and everything else. That's what we're going to do with this generator. I know you're like, man, you told us, but I promise you, if it's not raining tomorrow, we'll get it up. I just don't want to do it in the rain, right? I don't want to have my tools out in the rain. A lot of people understand what I'm saying. Stay tuned to the end of this video, because if you watched my short today that had the hay bale Trump trains with Donald Trump and everything, I'm going to tell you the story of how it got there and what happened to it earlier this year. Now, a lot of people's talked about the continuity of government drills they're doing, right? We actually got pretty good comments on that video. Not thousands or nothing, but more than usual. People seem to think like me, like, it doesn't make sense to be doing this close to the election. Are they planning or thinking civil unrest is going to come because of the election? And if they are, do they think that, hey, our selection is going to cause civil unrest? Or could it be that they know, no matter like me, which side, whoever wins the election, there's going to be problems. It's not going to matter if your Democrat wins or your Republican wins. There's going to be issues. We all know how the peaceful protests went during the pandemic, right? They weren't too peaceful. A lot of cities, things got burnt. You had one city that got taken over. Could that happen again? Possibly. Like I've said before, and most of y'all understand when I say this, it looks like on paper that Donald Trump is just going to win, right? That he's going to just 98% of the vote. You got to remember, we all thought that back in the last election, and what happened. I think this sounds dumb. Some of you may not like this, but when you're voting and it goes in a machine and the internet calculates your votes, or wherever they send them to calculate your votes, it could be manipulated. It could be hacked. Could we see an issue of power outages during the day to vote, right? Could we see issues of some kind of hack that goes on in the voting machines? It's Guys, this is the strangest election I've ever seen in my life. I'm 47 years old. Like I asked y'all the other day, or maybe it was yesterday, the ones who lived through the 60s, was it like this then? Was all the turmoil? You had Vietnam, you had the civil rights movement, you had all this going on. But what's going on now is the first time I have ever seen where the government is honestly getting out of control. They're trying to get it to where, like, if I come on here and say something to y'all and they don't like it, oh, let's get him off there. Let's fine him. Let's throw him in jail, right? We're not allowed to discuss things anymore. We're not allowed to have a different opinion than someone else. It's my opinion's right, or you can't debate that, right? I told y'all when my dog was sick, the vet, hardcore Democrat, he told me he was going to vote for Harris, right? Well, we were able to stand there and talk, and no hard feelings between us. And that's an issue we have in America now. People that disagree with each other, vast majority of people can't sit down and talk. It don't mean that my views are right and your views are wrong, or your views is right. I'm the type of person, I like to hear from people. I guess a people person is what you call it. Like when I had to go to the laundromat Sunday because our washing machine decided the agitator was going to break off the drum and almost shoot through the roof, right? I still don't know how that happened. Crazy times. I didn't have a backup washing machine. I guess, I might need to get a backup. But there were people there, and I talked to them. We talked about politics. We talked about the price of the laundromat. We talked about everything. Now, there was some people there that didn't want to talk. You'd say hello to them, and they just put their head down and go on about their day, right? Now, some days I feel like that myself. I don't want to talk to people. But I consider myself a people person. If we could come together and actually sit down and talk about our problems, maybe we could come to a peaceful solution. But we're well beyond that now. And you see that. They've changed the definition of everything. They changed the definition of recession. We know that we're in a recession right now. I think we're right teetering on a depression, honestly. I, Nobody will panic until they're not able to go get a hamburger. Plain and simple. Nobody will panic until they can't go to a restaurant and get something to eat. Continuity government, we know they do drills like that. I'm sure they do. Not all the time, but every year. But last year, the drills they were doing, or this summer, the drills they were doing. It's just getting to the point of where, why are they doing these? What are they expecting? You're going to have people say it's the January 6th insurrection. They're afraid something like that's going to happen. You got to think back, read your history. What would the people here in America have been called back during the Revolutionary War, right? Think about things like it. And people think, well, if the Republicans lose this time, they're going to hit the streets and they're going to get, try to overthrow the government or something. It's what people think is going to happen. From what we've seen, most people will just complain about it and go on about their day. Now, you'll have a few groups here and there, right? But if the Democrats don't go along with the election, you might be seeing cities burn, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that is a possibility. These are my opinions and my opinions only. Yours don't have to match my opinion. If they don't, I would like to hear from you so we could talk about it, right? But guys, this election, you need to go vote. You need to go home. If your bug out location is close, run a couple trial runs this weekend, to get to it. See what happens, your time and all that, and take different routes. You're like, okay, think in your head, well, maybe this road will be blocked or that road will be blocked, right? I'm not telling you to go bug out. I'm telling you to go do some trial runs. I don't think nothing major is going to happen the day of the election or the night of the election, because simply put, we're not going to know who wins this election for days, possibly weeks, right? We're not. When I was a kid, you go to bed, you kind of knew who it was, or definitely by the next evening, you knew who was president, right? And they conceded. The person that lost conceded, and they were like, well, we lost, congrats. They don't do that no more. If Donald Trump wins, the Democrats are going to protest it and try to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. If the Democrats win, the Republicans are going to do the same thing. You got to remember, when the Republicans did it last time, that's not right. You can't do that. And you watch, if this happens, the Democrats lose, they're going to do the same stuff, right? We're living in some wild times. Thankful I'm alive during these times, but I'm worried for my grandkids. What's going to be here when they get older, right? What's going to be here? They're all under, just say, 10 years old. What's going to be here when they're 47? I don't know. We may be living out in the sticks, right? And when I say sticks, I mean we may be living out in the woods, surviving that way. I know a lot of people are sitting there thinking, man, I wish this stuff would just hurry up and break off. I'm tired of doing this and tired of doing that. Let me tell you something. Even if the world goes completely upside down, we're still going to have to pay our taxes. If you're renting, you're still going to have to pay rent. Your car payments, all that kind of stuff's going to be due. Go back and look at the Depression era time. People still had to pay their taxes and their rent. So this election is one for the record books. No matter which way it goes, this is going to be something to see. You need to be prepared to the best of your ability. Like I say, I know money's tight, but guys, go out and pick you up an extra pack of water, maybe a water filter this weekend. Fill up your gas jugs just to be ready, because you're not wasting money. You're going to use that stuff eventually either way, right? So here's your video for today. I'm sorry that the generator is still in the box, still in the truck, because it was raining and I was not going to get it out and do it in the rain. Number one, I don't want my skill saws, my tables, I don't want that stuff out in the rain. Most of y'all understand what I'm talking about. It wasn't a heavy downpour, but it was enough. If you was outside for 2 minutes, your clothes were soaking wet. It was one of them steady drizzle fog, and then it would drizzle and the fog would lift, that type of rain. So if it's not raining tomorrow, we're going to get it made and get it up. I think y'all like it. I think you'll like the price of it, but we'll see in the video. I hope it runs. My biggest fear is we get it out there, get it ready, boom, 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 right? And the thing won't crank or the thing won't work. That's my biggest fear. I've always told you, do not buy used generators unless you know how to work on them completely. This is a brand new one. But that video, just as soon as the weather breaks and we can get it set up, we're going to film it today. I built all the cabinets and the bed for the front of the camper. Some of y'all saw I tore all that out. So all that's pretty much done. Still got to do a little, side paneling on a couple cabinets. But other than that, that part's done. But thank you to everybody who commented yesterday. Now, the update on the Trump train, if you saw my short. Earlier this year, it was just the Donald Trump thing made out of hay bales. Somebody burned it. So after they burned it, they come back, built it back, and then built the train part. If you didn't see the video, go check it out. I'll link it down here, either in the description, probably in the description if I can. If not, it's the short from today. But crazy times, y'all. Keep your head on swivel. Be aware of surroundings at all times. Protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, the only person can do it. Stay safe. Keep prepping. Stock up a little bit. You know, get you a little extra water and some filters or something this weekend. Fuel. Get your fuel filled up. Stay safe. Keep prepping.